That is the correct position. Now, for me, first of all, let me just say I don't envy you in this attempt to, there is a mental block that I don't know who put it there. Mm-hmm. But then immediately your name is said. There is a perception that I don't think even if you took 10 years to explain yourself, mm-hmm. I think the way people view and perceive you is not going to change. Mm-hmm. And the problem with that situation is that there's actually some things that we can learn from your experiences then, and some pointers of, proper warnings about the sort of people who should be able to go into power, should be allowed around power. But because it is Jirongo saying it, you will, of course, be immediately dismissed and said, huyo ni Kanu Hawk, anajaribu hapa kuja kujitetea. So I don't envy you from that particular perspective. Yes. But genuinely, mm-hmm. You have a responsibility to always speak out and explain to Kenyans that these luxuries that we enjoy right now, it's very easy for them to be taken away.
Yeah, they can be
you can imagine, and I'm sure you will have a conversation with my friend Okiya Omtata at some point. We are back to the era where a president can directly threaten you as an individual because you have exercised a right that is constitutional. Okiya Omtata took a matter to court after we have exhausted all other avenues. Mm-hmm. When the finance bill was in parliament, there is nothing we didn't say. If it is memoranda, we submitted memoranda. If it is views, we gave views. But they don't listen to Kenyans. They chose to listen to the IMF and the other foreign benefactors. So our only recourse was then to the courts. You take a matter to the court, and the president, physically, just the way that you have described what Moi did to you, tells Omtata that wewe utanijua. You think you can defeat a president in the courts. You will not win in this particular case. So we are slowly witnessing a return to those days. Because, Cyrus, for me, honestly, for me and my children, we don't want to live in fear. Fear is the worst human emotion because it can actually paralyze you. We don't want to be afraid to say things. We don't want to ever go back to those spaces. The young people who are on TikTok, who are on Facebook, who are on IG, should not be feeling afraid to say the things the way they see them and to express yourself, because if your constitution says you have the freedom of expression, you should be able to say whatever it is you want to say. So we don't want to ever go back there. And it falls back to, do we elect people who believe in these values that we expressed in this constitution? Do we elect people who actually believe that you have a freedom of association? Does William Ruto understand the freedom of expression, the freedom of protest, for instance? If you can tear gas a birthday cake, you just see people here having a good time, a bash, and you throw tear gas at a birthday cake, because the mere thought that somebody is being celebrated is something that makes you insecure. Then it tells you that that person does not believe that they should even be in power. So what we need to do, we need to have a conversation. One of the things that I encourage Kenyans every day, watu wa Mungu sio wachache, vile Cat Williams anasema. The number of good people in this country is quite high. There are many good people in this country. It is our responsibility to look for those good people, because only good people can do good things. If somebody has a history that, like the history of William Ruto, and you have told us some very shocking things, and I don't know why these things are just brushed off. You have told us very shocking things about your experiences with the Kanu regime. Even William Ruto himself, the things you saw with your own eyes as you narrated during Jacob Juma's funeral. But somehow people just brush that aside. No. Huyu ni mtu wa Mungu. Huyu mwenye anaenda kanisa, yeye ndiye amejenga hii makanisa. And then you make the mistake of actually giving power to those sorts of characters. The country will never move forward. So my hope, when we watch movies, we wait for what they call plot twists.
Yes. When
you go around the country right now, every single Kenyan denies voting for Ruto. All of them are saying now he is a bad man. Mm-hmm. I don't know what plot twist we will have before 2027 for these same Kenyans to come and give this guy a second term. But I have realized that this thing we have discussed here about tribalism and the hatred for other people, there are people who are in a space where they hate other people more than they love themselves. That I would rather be in pain. I would rather be sleeping hungry for as long as Raila is not president. Mm-hmm. That even if it is Raila who can actually make the economy turn around and make sure that I am able to feed my children, I would rather my children starve than see an uncircumcised Luo being president of this republic.
The same thing you're telling me.
Yes.
It will take over, I don't know how many times
you by
just tell you something else.
Wewe hata usijaribu. Wacha tu Wakenya waendelee tu vile.
I just want to tell you something.